Okay, we have talked about Shem and we have talked about Ham. Now it's time to talk about Japheth. And you're going to be very surprised about who he really is. And we're going to talk about him starting in Genesis 9 and 27. And the mistranslation of the Hebrew word Pathah in the Strong's H6601. This verse has been heavily manipulated over centuries to promote Eurocentric ideologies like colonism, manifest destiny, and white supremacy by wrongly interpreting the verse as divine approval of Japheth's territorial expansion. So we're going to talk about it. Let's start it out. Genesis 9:27, and I'll read it out of the King James Version. Yahuwah shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Now look closely at the word enlarge. The word Pathah, Strong's Concordance H6601, literally means to entice, deceive, persuade, seduce, coax, and allure. Can mean to be gullible, be naive, or open-minded in a way that leads to deception. Root implies moral and spiritual seduction, deception by flattery, or false promises. Examples of Pathah in Scripture. Exodus 22:16. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, same Hebrew word Pathah equals seduce. In Judges 14:15, entice thy husband that he may declare unto us the riddle, manipulative persuasion. Proverbs 1:10, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Used to describe temptation or manipulation. So in Genesis 9:27, the original Hebrew is not saying Yahuwah shall enlarge Japheth in the sense of blessing or territory. Instead, it's saying Yahuwah shall entice, seduce, deceive Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. This flips the entire meaning. So I want to expose the deception. Deceptive translation. Colonizer and European Bible scholars translated Pathah as enlarge or make room to justify European imperialism and land conquest, make it appear that Yahuwah gave Japheth divine right to take over land, culture, and rule over others. Validate manifest destiny, the ideal that white Western nations were destined to expand, enslave, and colonize. So let me tell you this prophetic understanding. When you restore the original Hebrew meaning, the prophecy becomes a warning, not a blessing. Yahuwah shall deceive or allow Japheth to be deceived, and he will attempt to dwell in the tents, inheritance, land, or covenant of Shem. Dwell in the tents of Shem equal Japheth invading, infiltrating, or claiming the heritage of Shem, which includes the Hebrews Yasharel. Japheth would be seduced by false power, religious deception, or entitlement to rule in Shem's place. This aligns with low European nations, took the Bible, claimed they were the chosen people, whitewashed history, and stole the covenant, thinking they were the spiritual Yasharel. That's Christianity for you and the Gentiles. So let me give you clarity. Yahuwah never said Japheth would be blessed with dominion over Yasharel or even over his land, Canaan. This was prophetic judgment and a setup. Japheth, through deception, would be allowed to trespass into Shem's inheritance, but not rightfully own it. This aligns with Psalms 83, Joel 3, and Obadiah, where the nations take the land and people of Yasharel, but will face judgment for it. So why does this really matter? Why am I talking about this now? Colonial powers took this false translation and justified the transatlantic slave trade. theft of lands, the Americas, Africa, and Australia, cultural genocide, and erasure of the true Hebrews, melanated peoples. The Christian missionaries that followed conquest used this verse to pacify, convert, and indoctrinate the indigenous and Hebrew descendants into accepting their oppression as divine will. So, restored translation of Genesis 9:27, Yahuwah shall entice, deceive Japheth, and he shall attempt to dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So who is Japheth today? Japheth is the progenitor of European nations. Gomer, Magog, Javan equal Greeks, Russians, etc. Most white Western countries trace to Japheth. These are the very people who took the land of Yisrael, claimed Jewish identity, Akanash, built global wealth off of colonization and slavery, live off the deception that they are the chosen people. So we'll see the end time reversal. This false doctrine will be destroyed when Yahushua returns. The true seed of Shem, the 12 tribes of Yasharel, many of whom are melanated and scattered, will be restored. Japheth's deception will be exposed. Those who dwelt in the tents of Shem unlawfully will face divine judgment. So Japheth, you think that you're ruling now with Esau, but Yahuwah is judging you right now.